Hello everyone, I just thought I'd show you a new kit I've just got. It's the Scrapbooking Kits Are Us. It's their new April kit and it's the Kaisercraft 75cent kit. It's on sale now on their website, so you can have a look. It's www.scrapbookingkitsareus.co.uk and this is the Kaisercraft 75cent kit. I was going to show you what you get in the kit and what I've managed to make out of the kit. In the kit you get 3 paper doilies, and these are of different size, small, medium and large, and they've got nice sort of flower and rosebud details around the edge of those. The first paper you get, it's called Penny, and you've got a floral print on this, and it's got script words behind if you look at it quite closely, so there's quite a lot of detail going on here. It's got a nice colour palette of sort of vintage golds and browns and turquoise and creams. On the opposite side you have there again a very sort of vintage distressed look to this. It looks like what's wallpaper behind that's all got distressed in and been old. Also on the bottom of the paper you do get a 12-inch border strip. This one has got, I don't know if you can see it there, it's got tiny little butterflies on a brown strip. So there again, that's very useful to use in your layout, so don't just think it's the border strip to show you the colour of the paper. The other sheet of paper is called Shilling. This there again has got a very sort of wallpapered effect of the vintage golds and browns and a bit of turquoise brought in as well. And then on the opposite side of that you've got turquoise and creams with 3 butterfly element here on the side, and there again the border strip down the bottom here is black with the nice little turquoise flowers on that. The third sheet's called Dime. This has got quite a lot on this paper, so you could use it for fussy cutting out to use as elements for layouts, or background papers if you're not quite sure, it's not quite your thing. So don't be put off by it, you can just have a look and see what you fancy doing with it. But on the opposite side, if you find that's too busy, on the opposite side you've got a black print with tiny little polka dots. And again on the bottom here you've got a turquoise border strip on that. You get 4 sheets of cardstock in the kit as well. This is from the Coordinations whitewash collection, and this is called Grandpa's Trunk. So you've got the white effect one side, but on the other side is like a craft brown. So if you distress or rub or screw up or wet or anything on this side, the opposite colour will come through. So you can use that for quite a few techniques really. From the Coordinations core card as well, we've got a sheet of paper here called Aegean, which is quite nice and bright, and it complements the colour palette very well with the pattern paper stock. So there again, it's double side is smooth one side and linen effect on the other. And then to finish the kit, there's 2 sheets of the French Vanilla. There again in the Coordinations, so you can use that for all different types of techniques. I thought now I'd show you just what I've managed to make with this scrapbooking kit, just to give you a few ideas. First of all, I made a double page layout. I used the cream cardstock as the background, so I had the flow that came right across the page. And then I've used all the bits of paper really in some way or another. But what I have done is when I've taken the strip of paper that goes all the way along, you can see it here as well, I haven't stuck it all the way along. I've been quite thrifty with it and just cut it where I actually needed it. I've fussy cut some of the elements out of that sheet I was telling you because I wasn't there again quite sure how I was going to use it. So don't be frightened to fussy cut and use elements out that you quite like. The doilies I've used in several ways. Here I've used it as a mast and put my distressing ink. I used Vintage Photo on this one. I've also used the distressing ink to go round the edges of my layout, and also to dull the French Vanilla down a bit because I found it was a bit too bright with the papers and my photographs. I wanted to bring it all down to a vintage feel, so it went in with the photographs that I was using of the Ponte Vecchia. Here I've used some of the Aegean, but just to matte and layer the main photograph to tie all the colours in. But there again, I've been quite frugal and I've cut it out of a middle of a piece of cardstock, and that's so I could produce another single page layout, but I'll show you that one in a minute. I did add some lace from my own stash just along the top here, just to soften that edge, because I felt that edge was just a bit too harsh. And then at the bottom here on this pattern paper, I've used my distressing tool to distress it, and I've ripped it, and I've also used the vintage photo ink to sort of make it look a bit more aged as well. I've also used the doily as a mask and used some black embossing powder to give a different a texture and a different feel to the paper. I continued it round as a circle, so it's actually on the pattern paper down here as well and over here, but you can't see it all the way around because it's under the photographs. And then I used the little doily to tie the 2 pages in, so when they're in your album like that, it ties in as a complete double page. I used the vintage photo there again in the middle, and I used the black embossing powder just on the edge to try and tie all the colours in. I used a couple of tags from my own stash because the colours just fitted in perfectly, so I just used those from my own paper stash. However, you could always cut photographs for journaling out of the cardstock that you got in the kit. So that's a double page layout that I made with the kit, but I've also managed to make a single page layout as well, which I was going to show you. This is the single page layout I made. As I told you just now, I used the middle of it to matte and layer the main photograph on the other double layout. I kept this page quite simple because I felt the other one had quite a lot of going on it and quite a lot of interest. I sanded back with my Sand It All tool the coordinations paper on the Aegean, and I also did the same with the Grandpa's trunk, so it wasn't too white, so it just sort of sanded that down. I've only used half of the medium doily on this layout, and I've used the vintage photo there again to distress it down and to bring the colours back down. Here I've used several strips of the paper, all the different papers. I've used several strips, used all my border punches, and then cut them at different lengths and layered them just to give a little bit of interest and to break the page up a bit, really. Down here I wanted to put a title, but there wasn't really anywhere to lay a title, so I made a rosette out of a strip of the cardstock, and I just used my scoreboard and I scored it every 1/4 inch, curled it round and fastened it together, pushed it down, and then I've made a little mat on the top here to put my title. Another little tip, I didn't have any letters that would fit in there that were the right size and the right look of what I wanted for my layout. So I went onto the computer on the Word document, printed the word out I wanted, just went through all the different types of fonts that were there, picked one I liked, and then I printed it out on some Saf Mat, and then you just rub that on like a rub-on, and you can't even see where the Saf Mat is when you've actually rubbed it over. But the 3 butterflies I cut out of that other piece of pattern paper that we saw, and then I've just added some little stickles to those just to make them a bit shiny and give a bit more interest there again to the page. So that's my single page layout. So I've made a double page and a single page layout from the one kit, which I think is quite economical. I have got bits left from my kit. I thought I'd just show you what I have got left, because being a bit of a frugal scrapbooker, I mean, there's quite a lot here really. I haven't got a main piece of 12 by 12 cardstock as a base, but I'm sure in my stash I've got a piece of cardstock, and with all the pieces of paper that I've got left here, I'll probably be able to produce, well, I definitely will be able to produce another single page layout from this kit. So by adding one more piece of cardstock, that's given me 4 pages just out of the one kit. So do log on and have a look. It's www.scrapbookingkitsareus.co.uk, and it's the Kaisercraft 75 cent kit, and it's on sale now on the website.